From the Van Aken Center, Market Hall, we are the Fabulous Boomer Boys. Right on cue, right on cue. Very good. I'm Bob Snyder. This is Bruce Bogart, my friend from the 4th grade, and we welcome you to Northeast Ohio's most popular Baby Boomer webcast. You can't argue with me because I don't know if there's another one. Anyway, welcome. And before we really get into the show, we're going to do this quickly because we have a great guest tonight, and we know you're all going to enjoy her appearance. We do want to remind everybody that coming up on October 30th, Bruce, right? Tyler, can you get a close-up of this? The Boomer Fest, where we have appeared before, is going to be taking place on October 30th.
Yeah, and it's out in Mayfield Village on Beta Drive, and we'll be wearing costumes.
Right, and you're all welcome to come. And it's an evening of entertainment, education. There's some complimentary small bites, very small bites, by the way, drink specials and music, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's right at the, Bruce, I've never been there to this place, 700 Beta Banquet and Conference.
It's, you know, it's north of Wilson Mills, off of Wilson Mills. These people know, these are Eastsiders for the most part, Bob. They'll find it.
They'll find it, okay. Put it in your ways, 700 Beta Drive, and that's where the performance will be. We hope a lot of you will come out there and see us. We'll have a good time being out there.
There's a lot of booths and a lot of things that people our generation might be interested in. Unfortunately, a lot of them are health-oriented now.
They seem to be. Talking about health, I think we ought to get right to the crux of the show here. Okay. And a very healthy person that we have as our guest. And this is a repeat performance. She was so good the first time, we had to have her back, and she's kind enough to return. And I just want to tell you real quickly, she is locally born and bred. And for a quick review, she went to Mayfield High School and also Collinwood, but graduated from Mayfield, which was a good move. And she actually taught at Memorial Junior High School in the South Euclid-Lyndhurst district, where Bruce and I grew up. And she's an Emmy Award-winning TV personality, and she's also in the Ohio Radio and TV Broadcasting Hall of Fame. So now that I got all that out of the way, we can talk to her and have a good time. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jan Jones.
Ban Jovi, known as Ban Jovi. Thank you, Ron.
Well, wait a second.
Well,
before Bob takes over the show, thank you so much
Bob?
for this.
Who's Bob?
been wondering.
I thought this was our show.
I'm serious. I love
First time we've ever had a guest brings their own orchestra.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, no, don't come hug me now that the hard questions are coming.
That was a courtesy hug.
Oh, all right.
All right.
All right.
One more thing. I'm very happily married, but if I wasn't, I would be getting on a Slovenian dating site. I just want you to know that.
I should probably explain this.
Go
Okay?
ahead, Bob. Bob's counting my 2 minutes.
All right.
A year ago, when I was here, Ron Sluga and Walter Ostanek, the accordionist, the accordion guru from Canada.
Right, he's a Frankie Yankovic of Canada was here.
That's right. They played me in. Well, apparently you, Bruce, have gotten to know Pat and Ron Sluga.
Right?
And you have even been to the Slovenian National People's Farm in Kirtland
I was out there about a month ago, I would say,
for the Sausage Festival.
for the Sausage Festival. I had no idea what I was doing there. In fact, I told you I was lucky to get in. Am I allowed to say that?
It's not
There were
true.
about 4 Jews there at any given moment. I had to sign in and sign out. When I left, 2 people got out of their car to come in. Okay, but talk to Bob.
So, that said, I figured that with all of that experience, Bruce truly is an honorary Slovenian. And the initiation, I remember last year you said you had never polka'd, and we did at the end of the show. And so the initiation was to polka your way into being an honorary
I
Slovenian.
appreciate it. And
So welcome.
Bob, maybe I can get you into the festival next.
Well, let me tell you, if I would have known going out there, I would have got to dance with Jan. I would have been there. You didn't tell me that part, but okay.
Okay, I'm all yours,
All
Bob.
right,
I'm
you're all
all
mine? All right,
yours.
it's all mine
Yours.
now. Okay. All right. Well, we had such a good time with you last time. I really felt that one of the things we didn't talk about, and it's something that I thought you were very passionate about, and when I look back at the show, I thought we should give it a little more time, a little more serious, just for a couple of minutes if we could. I know you're very much involved with organ donation, right?
Yes,
Am I right?
yes,
No,
yes,
that's
yes.
a serious topic,
Yeah.
but I mean, we all know that your husband had
2 heart transplants.
before, may he rest in peace, had 2 heart transplants, and that also helped get you involved in this. But I think you ought to tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not able to be a spokesperson
No,
with
right.
lots of information right now, but I will tell you that every organ, eye, and tissue donor can save 8 lives and can enhance the lives of 50 people, organ, eye, and tissue. And so I encourage you to give the gift of life. And there's a phone number here, and lifebank.org is the website where you can get more information. But if you just check the little box on your driver's license, that will show that if, when the time comes, you are an organ donor, that makes it easy for life. Your family, talk to your family about it. You are respected as a donor because you are a giver. There's a little saying that says, don't take your organs to heaven because God knows we need them here. So
Okay, well,
please,
good.
lifebank.org.
You know, we were talking earlier,
And I will say, just very quickly,
Yeah.
my husband was a heart transplant miracle, and two in 24 hours, and it gave us 15 more years together. And when he passed away, his heart was the strongest organ. So it is truly a gift of life. So thank you so much. Please be an organ donor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now let's get into some of the fun things. Okay?
One thing. Yeah, I know what you think is fun.
No,
Bob.
well, right, that's true. You know me, Jane. But what are we talked about you being on Morning Exchange with, of course, Fred Griffith
Yeah.
and Joel Rose.
Yeah.
And I think you've got a picture there of that.
I got a couple of things.
I don't know if a lot of the people out here, especially those maybe watching on YouTube, about how Jan was really a pioneer as far as women in television in Cleveland go, being on with these 2 men and co-hosting a major show on Cleveland television, right? And you know, I was reading something, they actually kind of told you in those days to dress down. Am I right about that?
Oh
Jan?
my goodness. Oh, even before the Morning Exchange. I remember I started on a show called Noontime
Noontime, okay.
with Dave Buckle and Ann Mulligan and Steve. Oh my goodness, is this terrible? You know, hard to remember names back from so
Right.
far away. But when we first started, the idea was to look businessy. And I was kind of a bohemian dresser, you know, bandanas and all the fun colors. And they said, no, you need to dress in gray, black, brown, maroon, navy, and be more like a news person, which I did with the bow blouses and all of that. And I think
Even your hairstyle.
Hair.
I see it, right?
yes, I had really kind of curly hair. I had to bring that down, but I didn't mind. I mean, why would you mind? It's a great job. You go by the dictate of the job. It wasn't anything that was untoward to do, but indeed there were parameters to follow, which I think is not a bad thing.
Well, you know, when you say not a bad thing, I've got to wonder, Jan, if you experience like what we're hearing so much about now in the news.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, Jan is not a big news watcher anymore. That's why she's such a happy person.
That's right.
She doesn't waste time, right? How negative is the news these days? And I understand when you say that. But yes, this is Jan Jones. Look at those people. That's Jan Jones.
Oh, I know
You're
her.
right.
I
She's
know
here
her.
live.
Hi, Sharon and George.
Yes, she's
Hi,
here.
Sharon and George.
Well, but when you first started in the business, I mean, I'm sorry, you know where my mind's at. I've got to wonder, did you have a lot of this casting couch situation or that we hear about?
No. Number one, it wasn't my kind of personality because I was truly the girl next door. And number two, I had a family. I was one of the only women on television who had children to take care of as well. So I did my job, I did all the extras that I had to do, and I went home. So that helped. And I have such a cheerful personality. I never came on to anybody because I was happy at home. But I will say that when I was first starting, I started at WVIZ as a television teacher.
Educational channel.
Yeah,
Nothing happened
as a
there.
television
Okay.
teacher. No, that is where.
That is where
that
it
was
is?
my.
They have these documentaries.
No. But I do remember very well in the hallway there, somebody from the administration had me up against the wall,
You gotta
laughing,
face Bob
talking.
when you
This
tell
is
this
true.
story.
Oh, okay, but up against the wall, you know, talking, kind of leaning in, this type of thing, you know. And I was young. I thought, what is going on? And you know what I did? I laughed. I just would laugh. Oh, no. Oh. And I laughed myself right. I mean, I can remember it like it was last month. Laughed myself right out of the situation and went away. I talked to some other people about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, he's like that with everybody.
Oh,
you
really?
really have to watch for him." Well, now all these years later, if that had happened, I would have reported it. But the attitude was, he's like that with everybody. You have to watch out for him. And thank goodness I was a strong enough woman to be able to, you know, figure out a way out of it. And I was young. And that's where when you have someone who's young, hungry for the business, naive, they can be put in a rough spot.
Well, I mean, that's what we hear about all the time, is that people are under the pressure, being young, being on television, getting this opportunity, and they feel that they don't know how to handle it. But something tells me, Jan, you knew how to handle it. Besides that one time, if it ever
Yes.
would have happened.
Oh
again.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yes,
you must
walk
have heard
away.
some war stories from some ladies over the years.
No, you know what? Not much. And again, the reason I truly believe the reason that I didn't is because I was a young mom, and I loved my job. I loved my career. I loved being with people. Really loved being with people. But then I went home. I worked on the PTA. I went to the elementary school. I
You know
mean,
how you've disappointed Bob with what
Oh,
you're saying?
man, I was hoping for a much better answer.
Oh, he was going to do 20 minutes on this alone.
All right, we got to go to question
I'm
two.
not the one. Isn't that terrible?
No, it's great. It really
I
is.
went home.
No. Well, you know, I do remember another show that you were on. We can talk about, which was. And it's funny. There was one of the people working here, who's a little younger than I am, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, but they weren't sure who you were.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I
But
could understand that.
But I said to them, well, what about Michael Stanley? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, if you are into rock and roll music at all, and you can go back to the 80s, Michael Stanley, who you co-hosted Via Magazine with. Here, Tyler, can we get this picture here? Tyler's busy talking. There you go. But now that, you had to have a lot of fun at that show with
I mean,
Well, you know what's really funny about that? When I was doing the morning exchange, okay, Fred was on vacation or something, and we had guest hosts.
Okay.
And they asked Michael Stanley to co-host. I had no idea who he was because my kids didn't listen to his music, and I sure didn't because I was too busy working. So I didn't know what was going on. So when he came on, I treated him like anybody else who would have co-host. I was kind. We did a good job. It was nice to work with him, and then I, went home. So years later, when I ended up working with him, it was so easy because we came from different worlds. The good thing was, though, I came from live television. When we started to do PM Magazine, I came from live television.
Right.
He came from live music, live stage. So because we both came from those experiences, when we started to do PM Magazine, which always had kind of cookie cutter hosts, they memorized, they spoke, the camera was on them, and then it stopped. Well, Michael and I were very loose. And so our crew had to get used to us. When we'd make a mistake or we'd laugh, the crew would stop and we'd go, no, don't stop, leave it in. That's what makes it feel like it's live.
I tell you, whenever Bruce makes a mistake, just keep going. Don't worry about it. Right?
But it
Why
makes
are you applauding him and encourages him?
So it made it more live, and Michael and I then were able to make that show our own, which was different from any of the other co-hosts.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. You were really the second stringers when you started that show.
Yes, we were.
And then they moved you, for those of you who didn't know that, then they got rid of the people that were the first team and they moved you from the weekends.
That is
to the
absolutely
weekdays.
true.
So I'm not going to say who the other people were. They were good too.
They were good, and they went on to other things, and they put Michael and me, and it clicked. It really did. It was fun. But he did tell me, I'll never forget the day that he walked into the office, my office, and he said, Jones, I just had my annual physical, and my doctor gave me vitamin B so I could keep up with you. You had to start taking vitamin B.
Who would have thought? But the other thing about you on that show, as I remember, is that you were kind of fearless.
Yes.
Right? I've been a TV. Listen, this is why I do this. Besides being able to sit for a half hour with Bruce. Right. Anyway, the reason is because I was a big TV watcher growing up. Stuart Fenton, who's in our audience tonight, can testify to that. We worked in New York. We only worked half a day. The first half of the day we spent watching television. But anyway, you like to do things like bungee jumping.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yes.
mean, think about it, audience. How many people, women in particular, went out there and did things like bungee? My wife.
Yes,
probably, but,
Bonnie would.
Well, she's a daredevil. She married me.
Yeah.
But really, right? I mean, those.
Yes. Yeah, I always was. And it was funny because Michael was not.
No, that's what I wanted to say. He was the rock and roll guy. You figured that, he's not afraid to do anything, right? But you were the
he
one.
was steady. Thank goodness Michael was steady.
Okay.
But when they came up with crazy ideas, I would always be the one. First of all, I would volunteer, and then they would say, "Okay, Jones will do this," and I would.
And you did.
Yeah, I mean, I did bungee jump, and in not Australia, not Guam. What else? What is it?
You think I know about bungee jumping?
I'm trying to think. I
grew up
did
in
bungee
Jewish
jump.
neighborhoods.
We grew up in South Euclid. They didn't have bungee jump.
Bungee jump.
The highest
Of course,
hill.
I zip lined. I zip lined in my ski gear.
You
I
still-
zip
No,
lined
you're a
out
skier,
in
too.
Montana. I zip lined
You still
in the
ski,
winter.
and you
I
still
still
ski,
ski,
right?
and I just started. And we did crazy boat races around,
What you
in
talking
the
about?
in the
Boats and
cliffs.
skis and bungee jumping?
Oh, I rappelled. Speaking of rappelling, when we were talking about Life Bank, this summer they had their fundraiser, and it was On the Edge. Something, I think it was called On the Edge, and they had people rappelling from a 23-story building in downtown Cleveland.
Sign them up.
What does
It
that
was
mean? I don't know
so
what that
exciting,
means.
and I actually did sign up, and I had to leave town for one of the grandchildren's graduations, and so I donated it to a cause. But I would have rappelled down
I
that
can't
building.
be the only one that doesn't know what that means. Who out here, be honest, who doesn't know what repelling is? You got
See? Not repelling.
Right.
Repelling.
Rappelling.
Spell it, Bob.
R-A. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, that's when you hold a rope and you're up high
Yep.
and you jump backwards.
And you climb, and you go backwards down the cliff or the building.
Yeah. They have a place right around the corner here called Shaker
Oh, the
Rock.
Rocks.
I've taken my grandchildren there.
Yes.
It's a great, right? Where's that young lady that was back there? She knows what rappelling is.
Isn't it
right?
crazy?
There you go.
Now, if you said Bob was repelling, I would understand
No,
that.
that's the other.
Well, but so
So yes, I was fearless.
yeah,
Yep.
you were
I
fearless.
still am a little.
A little bit. Well, you still
little.
ski, right? You don't just ski at like Brandywine. I mean, you go out west, right?
Brandywine and Alpine, they're good places. They really, and Boston Mills, they're good places to learn. If you're thinking that you might like to learn to ski for adults
Right.
or children, wonderful local places. And then you graduate to Peak and Peak, which is an hour and a half. Then you graduate to Holiday Valley, which is a little bigger. And then you go out west.
Okay.
You go
there
to
you
Montana and
What do you think, Bruce?
Utah. and-
In 2 weeks, I won't be here. I'm going to be repelling.
I would take you ski. I'd ski the.
I'll tell you what,
I would
send me a
ski the
postcard.
bunny hill with you. I'd ski-
Send me a postcard.
Actually, I'm a little
And
surprised.
then you could put the little skis on, the little blades, and you could do circles down.
Oh yeah. No, I'm a little because Bruce actually was fearless on the baseball field. I'm gonna give you
That's
that. Bruce.
right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean
It was
when
a
we,
baseball diamond, Bob.
the baseball diamond.
Oh, the
I could-
diamond.
I never
I don't have any
remember
diamonds
Bruce
on.
leaving the baseball diamond without a dirty uniform.
Thank you.
Would you say?
That's true.
I mean, if you had to slide or not have to slide, Bruce was out in the dirt.
You would
Anybody that knows
slide.
you,
Yeah, but that was baseball.
well, yeah.
Oh, but that can be scary though.
yeah.
Not the way I played it.
And I was actually the opposite. I always came home in a claim uniform.
That's right.
You stayed on
You
your
never
feet.
got on base.
No, I got a base.
What position did you play?
I played outfield, left field. I still play. This is my. I just quit now. My team won we won the championship in the Beechwood Men's Softball League.
All right,
65 year old.
nice. That is nice. That is
65.
nice.
I'm the oldest guy on the
Well,
team.
that's okay.
I'm the oldest.
That's
All right.
You don't run the bases, though.
No, I run the bases. Yeah, but you're allowed to overrun them, and you're not allowed to slide. So it's
But
my
anyway,
kind of league.
what's the biggest risk you've taken in the last year?
In the last
Being on this show. Besides that,
No. It's a little serious. The biggest risk that I took in the last year was going back to skiing because my husband and I skied together always.
Okay.
And so without him, I wasn't sure that I wanted to ski again or that emotionally I could do it again. And so Lily at Geiger's said, you need to join the Cleveland Suburban Ski Club. And I don't join clubs. And she'd been telling me this for years. And finally last year, I looked on the website and I said, how am I going to find out unless I go? I signed up. We went out to Utah, 65 people. I didn't know anybody. They were so kind, so nice. I went to all the places that Shelley and I had been. I cried every day. I laughed every day. And I learned that indeed I still love it. I love being out with God. That's a beautiful thing to be out in God's creation and the exhilaration, and that was the scariest thing that I did, and I did it, and I'm going to do it again. It was exciting. Exciting.
Jan, tell us about your worst interview. Now, I don't mean necessarily the worst interview, but the person that you were.
Okay, I can think of one.
Like I said,
All right.
repelling.
Save me.
Not my worst interview.
No, but give me something.
But
Get me out of this.
yeah, it was Richard Simmons, who did the rock and roll exercise and everything.
Exercise, right.
He was a great guest and a terrific guy, and totally sincere, completely sincere and wonderful man. However, we were live, and Joel and I would sit on the couch, and Fred would sit on the chair, and then Joel would go to do the news, and whoever the guest would come and sit on the couch with me. Well, when Richard came on, he was a wild man. So he'd have his shorts on and his t-shirt, the music would play, kind of like what we did today, only he would start doing his music and everything, and he threw himself
I'll do it this way. Come this way.
He threw himself on me. I mean, threw himself on me, and I'm on the couch, and I'm thinking, holy mackerel. And you know, I was nice, and he finally got up and he threw himself on me again. He was crazy. I have to say that was a little unsettling, but I stayed happy.
All
But I
right.
thought, oh my gosh, that's not fun when people throw themselves on you physically.
I kind of like
I've
this.
told you that for
Physically.
years, Bob. For years I've said that.
Physically. And I think I told this story before too. I had to interview Tom Jones. And I remember it was not on the air, it was at a venue, probably one of the places where he was
For
playing.
the millennials' sakes that watch this, the few that do,
Okay.
okay, women would actually throw
Oh.
their underwear, right? Clap if I'm correct. You all know this story, right? Tom Jones, they used to throw their underwear. Did you throw your underwear? Oh, he did. No. Anyway, so women would throw their underwear up on stage to Tom Jones.
Oh, God.
He was
He
like
was-
really the first guy to do that. And
He was-
Humperdinck came on after, but he was
Yes,
the guy, right?
He
Okay.
was the guy, handsome and nice and handsome. And I will never forget. You know, it's crazy the things that you remember.
Right.
I will never forget. I came from behind him, and so when I came past, I put my hand on his shoulder.
No, do it over
to
this
just-
way. Go ahead.
I put my hand on his shoulder this way to say, you know, Mr. Jones, I'm Jan Jones, I'll be interviewing you. And he had on the softest, creamiest cashmere jacket that I had ever touched. And it was like,
It doesn't just happen to guys, Bruce. I've tried to tell you this.
well, I mean, that was it. And he was good looking and he was nice and he was a generous interview. But that jacket, I'll never
I
forget
don't
it.
know if I ever thought soft was a compliment, Bob.
No, his jacket was soft.
But his jacket was soft.
His jacket was soft.
But you know, it is funny you say that, the
Isn't that
things that you
funny?
remember.
Yeah,
right?
silly
I mean,
things.
I mean, that is
Good
that's
haircut. He had a
amazing.
great haircut.
That's
you
what I was
could tell
gonna
that
ask you.
somebody. You could tell that somebody, his barber, must have taken a little tiny pair of scissors and gone like this to every hair.
Was it really his hair?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was. Okay. Because
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
there were some of these guys like Ted Danson, right? Everybody knows what Ted Danson is. Okay. That's not his hair.
Yes. No, but I'm trying to think if I knew of anybody who really didn't
I mean,
have their.
Bruce
it's
and
hard
I,
to
we're out here
remember.
with our real hair. Come on, right?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. This is us.
Okay. Okay. You're talking about hair and everything. I thought that this might be fun.
Let's get Tyler up here. Come over here.
I thought that it might be fun to kind of like just take a little walk down memory lane with, you know, this is how people change. So when I first started in the business, I was with David and Lee Central Casting and did commercial work. And this is not my own hair. I wore wigs all the time.
You did. Let me
Yeah.
see that picture.
Sorry, Tyler.
Oh my! You really did.
Oh
They-
yeah. Well, wait. You will love this. I wasn't going to show it all, but I know that you would like it.
I show it on the back.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness.
You gotta show that.
Let's see if we can. Tyler, does this come through good on YouTube? Let's see what that looks like.
This is what when you go with an advertising agent and you want to get commercial work, either print or on air or what have you. You want to show how diverse you can be. And so I had a blonde wig, I had long brown wigs, I had red wigs, and then I could be a mom, I could be funny, I could be silly. So those were the kinds of things. Okay.
Because you're an actress.
I
though,
was
too,
an actress, right.
I mean, you still do some stuff at Chagrin Valley
So-
Little Theater. We don't want to forget
I
to say
do.
that.
Okay,
yeah.
then the next we start. You can see that the Jan Jones look was starting to evolve. Okay, and then
Let me
this
get
is like
I
through
gotta
the
see this.
years. I'm going to back up.
What's
Sorry,
with the middle
Tyler.
initial all of a sudden?
Hold on, hold on, hold on. Now, come on.
pretentious.
There's a
A little
thing here.
pretentious to pee in there.
Well, the reason that we did that is because Jan Jones is such a common name that, you know, and P was for Paulich, P-A-U-L-I-C-H. And at one point, when I was doing news, when I first started doing weather, they asked if I would use my middle name because of the ethnicity.
Sure.
And I said, sure. So it was Jan Paulich Jones, because I was Slovenian. And then
I
this
can relate
is
to
more
that.
current. So you can see the progression, and I thought that might be fun.
Oh, look at
So,
that.
to
Wait,
see the
here's- Wait a minute. I'll tell you when you should clap.
Funny.
How about the progression of how she looks today? Tell me about it, right?
That funny?
Yeah.
But I laughed. I thought, oh, I've got to show Bob this. All right. Next.
Well-
What else do I have here? Hold on a second. You mentioned the Chagrin
Yes,
Valley
this
Little
is Jan
Theater.
Jones. You're right, Jan Jones. She's with Fabulous Boomer Boys. You're right.
You
Thanks for
mentioned
coming.
the Chagrin Valley Little Theater.
How'd that show go?
Murder by the Falls.
it's an
It
annual event.
was great.
Was it?
Every year, the weekend after Labor Day, they do their fundraiser, and it's a new show every year. And I was not the murderer this year.
You were not.
No, but the neat thing is that it was a takeoff on the Partridge Family, and I got to play the Shirley Jones part because she was so nice. Only she had gotten hit in the head by a Klieg light when she was doing Broadway. This is my character.
Oh, your character.
And she lived, but the only problem was that anytime that she heard a song from The Sound of Music, she would go crazy. And then you had to sing something else from some other Rodgers and Hammerstein song in order to get me back. So Greta Rothman. Greta Rothman, she was so good, and she and her brother Drew wrote it. So it was fun for me to be really, really nice and then go crazy.
That's great.
So
You
it
got
was
to
neat.
do that? Oh.
I got to do it. So Chagrin Valley Little Theater, they have a whole series of events. Please check them out. That's neat. What else can I tell you about? How about the Valley Arts Center?
Okay, one more plug.
Yeah, one more plug for the Valley
where
Arts
is
Center.
it?
That's in Chagrin Falls. We're going to be looking at their 50th year next year, and they have classes for people from age 3 to 93. Anything that you would love to start off as a beginner, or even if you are an artist and would like to join a class or learn something new.
Now, there's not
Valley Arts
there's
Center.
not any nude models there.
They do have life drawing. They,
they
do
do?
have life drawing. Absolutely, they do. But it's
Michael,
but-
you might be interested.
I wasn't the model, but I took a life drawing class when I started.
did?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really interesting. Oh wait, can I show these two pictures too? Where's Tyler?
Sure.
We were talking about skiing. These are two of my favorite pictures. So this is why we kept skiing. And then people say, well, what do you do in the winter? Do you go to the beach? And we said, yes, we go to the beach. We go to Deer Valley. This is the beach in Deer Valley. Isn't that cool?
Is that snow behind you?
That is all snow. This is winter. This is like February.
Oh,
And they have the deck chairs so that you can go out and lay in the sun in the snow, which is really kind of neat. So that's my idea of a beach.
You want to hear kind of neat?
What, have I stopped
You come
talking
back-
yet?
No, you come back next year. And when you go through this, there's a picture of you and me.
Okay. Yeah, but you have
You
to have
hold it
somebody
up to the
take
camera,
it.
Bob will have a coronary.
I'll do that with
I'll be
you.
proud of you. I'll be proud of you.
Is this so funny? Big Chuck.
Oh, big
Oh
shot.
yeah, you saw.
Oh, how was the
you said
Goulardi
Big
Fest?
Chuck. Here, this is it. This is the Goulardi. I went to the Goulardi Fest.
All right,
I
Jan
did.
was at the, we had Little John here, those of you that are new to our show. Little John was our guest last program,
And here I am with Chuck and John.
Chuck and John.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so wait, I didn't get to go. What'd you do there, Jan?
It is so bizarre. It's two buildings at the Berea Fairgrounds, two full buildings of purveyors of stuff, t-shirts and mugs and ceramics, and it all has to do with horror movies and Big Chuck and Little John and Goulardi and memorabilia from Cleveland. It is crazy. So my brother-in-law, Ron Arts, and his wife were here from Richmond, Virginia, and they stayed at my house. And Ron said, oh, I wish we were going to be here for 2 more days. I would want to go there. I was stunned. Turns out he had a Goulardi mug that had all the things that Goulardi said, turn blue, you
Kniff,
think,
purple
Kniffs,
Kniff,
yes. So he said, and the handle broke off. And his wife wanted to throw it away, and he would not throw it away. So he's got a broken mug. Do you know, I found a new mug
Oh, there at the.
at the Goulardi
The
Fest.
same mug?
The same mug. I think I don't know what his looked like, but it had a handle on it and it had all the sayings. And a t-shirt that has Goulardi in blue. In blue.
Right, because that was his.
And a handmade, I'm telling you guys this, I mailed it to Ron today. A handmade.
Well, let's give a plug for your sister-in-law. Talk about your brother-in-law, talk about your
Yo is
sister-in-law.
here. Yo and Marv Margolin, thank you. Our cousins Wendy and Richard, thank you. And a little, like a hand-carved of Goulardi little ornament.
Okay.
So there's lots of stuff to do out
And
there.
you want to know why we had her back a second time? Come on.
You guys are crazy.
We're not going to be at the Goulardi Fest. but Bruce and I, we're going to be representing the Fabulous Boomer Boys.
And the Armenian community. Not Armenian, what is it?
Slovenian.
Why
That's
did you tell-
close.
why did you tell me that?
You already
Right.
changed ethnicity here. Anyway, it's going to be at again 700 Beta Banquet and Conference Center in Mayfield Heights. And you know what? We're going to give a couple of tickets out here after the show to people to get in. But it's really a lot of fun. If you're out in that area, I recommend it. And especially because we'll be there.
And
we're
they
fun
really,
guys,
they
you know?
really are. Wait, so one year I went to Ohio University for Parents Weekend, and it happened to be Halloween. And if you know OU, their Halloween is unbelievable.
Right.
In fact, the kids at OU go home because all the other kids from other colleges come
Right,
there.
I had a nephew that went there. Yeah, sure.
So some guy was dressed. I mean, he had a cocktail, fake cocktail and a funny outfit and everything, and he looked like a mushroom. And we said, "Well, why are you dressed like this?" And he said, "Because I'm a fun guy."
That wasn't me. It wasn't me.
You said you were a fun guys. We have two mushrooms here. Two mushrooms.
All right. How about a little music to take us out of here?
Yes. Could you play Yaspati? Can you play Yaspati? Yaspati.
Ron, hold on.
Yaspati Vajidna Morella means you and I beneath a silk umbrella,
Oh,
Bruce.
man, we.
All right. Oh, one
You
quick.
gotta talk about
Oh
that.
yeah, quick plug. Here it is, Kyrie Irving, an unauthorized biography. Matt Martin Gitlin, right, Bruce?
Marty Gitlin will be here.
He's going to be here.
November 5th is
November
our tape date.
is our next broadcast date, and it'll be on the 6th. But I've already read part of this, and there's some revealing things there. If you're at all any kind of a Cleveland Cavalier basketball fan, you're going to find out some interesting things about Kyrie Irving. And again, this is unauthorized, so you're going to hear a lot of good stuff.
I'm hoping it's unauthorized because I don't like the guy.
Well, I like him, but
Kyrie
that's
Irving?
besides the point.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
everybody, thank you for coming. Tyler, let's get a